EQC.
The American Radio Relay League News will start now.
This is ARRL Audio News, your weekly summary of news highlights from the world of amateur radio. If you retransmit audio news through a repeater, listen for the Morse code K character, followed by 4 seconds of silence. That's your cue to stop transmitting so that your repeater timer can reset.
I'm John Ross, KD8IDJ, and this is the ARRL Audio News for Friday, January 12th, 2024. ARRL has responded to the Federal Communications Commission's request for comments on removing the symbol baud rate restrictions that apply to data communications on the LF bands and the VHF and UHF bands below 450 megahertz. The FCC has also requested comments on the bandwidth limits applicable to those bands. The FCC's action follows their 2023 decision to remove the symbol rate limits on the 160 to 10 meter amateur bands. Those limits were replaced with a 2.8 kilohertz bandwidth limit, a move that ARRL had long advocated. The FCC's further notice of proposed rulemaking sought comments on updating the other bands as well, on which its symbol rate limits continue to throttle faster data rates. The subject bands are the LF bands 2200 and 630 meters, and the VHF and UHF bands below 450 megahertz. In its comments, ARRL strongly agreed with the FCC's proposal to remove the symbol rate limits on the remaining bands. There is a public period for reply to comments, which remains open now until January 22nd, 2024. And you can read more about ARRL's comments and how to file comments on ARRL News. The Hamcation Awards Committee has announced the 2024 Orlando Hamcation recipients of the Carol Perry Educator of the Year and the Gordon West Ambassador of the Year awards. Both awards will be presented at the 2024 Orlando Hamcation, which is hosting this year's ARRL Florida State Convention on February 9th through the 11th. Louis Malchek, N2RQ, is the recipient of this year's Carol Perry Educator of the Year award. Malchek holds an amateur extra class license and is co-founder of the ARRL School Club Roundup, of which he's been active with for more than 25 years. He formerly taught chemistry at the Brooklyn Tech High School, where he's been an advisor to the school's amateur radio and wireless tech club, W2CXN. He has spent his lifetime educating children.
American Radio Relay League News will continue in 20 seconds.
And adults about amateur radio. The Carol Perry Educator of the Year award was first awarded at the 2019 Hamcation to its namesake, Carol Perry, WE2MGB, in honor of her work as an educator and teaching students about ham radio. It is given annually to individuals who made outstanding contributions to educating and advancing youth in amateur radio. And the 2024 Gordon West Ambassador of the Year winners are Fred AB10C and Anita Kemmerer, AB1QB. The Kemmerers hold amateur extra class licenses and are active in the Nassau Area Radio Society, promoting amateur radio instructions, youth outreach, and STEM education. Together, they created and helped grow the Ham Boot Camp, a program educating more than 900 hams to learn new skills. They're active in the club's training and licensing events, along with Tech Nights, which complements club meetings. Their participation in STEM activity includes high-altitude balloon launches, fox hunts, and ARRIS contacts for many schools. Fred Kemmerer is the ARRL New England Division Director, and he chairs and contributes to several subcommittees. Anita Kemmerer serves the division as an Assistant Director for Mentoring and New Ham Development. The Gordon West Ambassador of the Year Award was first awarded at the 2023 Hamcation in honor of West's contributions and inspiration to the amateur radio community. It is given to individuals who represent and inspire others and who embody the amateur radio spirit by making outstanding contributions to the amateur radio community. Hamcation has been sponsored by the Orlando Amateur Radio Club, W4PLD, since 1946, and is held annually on the second weekend of February. ARRL Kids Day was a success in Nebraska this past weekend. The Bellevue Amateur Radio Club and the Science Club at Yates Illuminates teamed up to offer the youth in Omaha, Nebraska with an opportunity to get on the air for ARRL Kids Day. The event was held at Yates Illuminates, a former elementary school that is now a culture and community center. Amateur radio operators served as volunteer operators and were extremely patient coaches who nurtured the kids' curiosities about talking on the radio. Dozens of youth as young as 4 and, well, as young as Hart Bob Hutton, he's 91 years old, used the event call sign to talk to amateur radio operators across the country and around the world. Parents were impressed with Kids Day. One parent said the event organized by the Yates Illuminate Science Club was a perfect blend of education, technology, and community spirit. My kids were thrilled to delve into the rules of amateur.
American Radio Relay League news will continue in 20 seconds. Updated weather information. Wind chill advisory.
Education, technology, and community spirit. My kids were thrilled to delve into the rules of amateur radio thanks to the expert guidance of the Bellevue Amateur Radio Club. They learned about radio technology and how to contact other youth radio enthusiasts across the country. This hands-on experience in communication technology was not only fun, but also incredibly educational. The final highlight of the day came as each child received their certificate of completion. Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America were all represented as the country of birth or the origin nationality of the youth involved participants. They also talked with amateurs as far away as England and Canada. ARRL Kids Day is already planned for next year, and the Yates Illuminate Science Club will continue to help youth learn the basics of electrical circuits, electronics, and radio propagation, as well as how to make homebrew antennas. Fox hunts, the integration of a course in radio, and other applied scientific learning opportunities such as wildlife tracking and rescuing, aviation and space research, and communications are also on the agenda. More stories and photos of ARRL Kids Day can be found at ARRL Contest Soapbox. Winter Field Day, WFD 2024, sponsored by the Winter Field Day Association, is scheduled to run from 1900 hours UTC on Saturday, January 27th through 1859 UTC on Sunday, January 28th. WFD is held on the last full weekend in January as a communications exercise that can be worked from the comfort of your home or in a remote location. You can participate by yourself, with your friends and family, or with a local club. WFD is open to participants worldwide. Amateur radio operators may use frequencies on the HF, VHF, and UHF bands and are free to use any mode that can faithfully transmit required exchange intact. Similar to ARRL Field Day, bonus points are earned in several ways, including using non-commercial power sources, operating from remote locations, and making satellite contacts, and much more. WFD is designed to help increase your level of preparedness for disasters and for you to improve and practice your operating skills in winter environments, as the potential for freezing temperatures, snow, ice, and other hazards present unique operating conditions. Also remember to mark your calendar for the 2024 ARRL Field Day. That's on June 22nd through the 23rd. For additional information, visit fieldday@arrl.org. The River City Amateur Radio Communications Society, RCARCS.
American Radio Relay League news will continue in 20 seconds.
The River City Amateur Radio Communications Society, RCARCS, and Sacramento, California Girl Scout Troop 1089 have been working hard to plan a contact with the International Space Station. In March of 2023, the application submitted by Scout leader Amanda Banks was approved by the Amateur Radio on the International Space Station ARROUND program. The club hands and Girl Scout troop leaders have jointly engaged in a variety of activities to prepare for that contact. The Scouts have learned about space, communication modes, how radio waves work, frequency and amplitude circuits, web-based software-defined radio, telemetry signals from terrestrial and orbiting sources, and creating QSL cards and designing T-shirts for that contact day. Jennifer Garland, K1TTY, led the practice sessions with local clubs on the N6NA repeater via voice and slow scan TV. The ARROUND contact is expected to occur in mid-February when the space station tracks over California. There will be a live stream from the Girl Scout Sacramento headquarters on YouTube and Facebook. A silent key to report this week. Avid amateur radio operator Marty Engstrom, N1ARY of Freiburg, Maine, has become a silent key. He died on January 4th at 86 years old. Generations of New England television viewers may know him as Marty on the Mountain from his weather reports on camera for WMTW-TV from the station's transmitter site on Mount Washington in Gorham, New Hampshire. Engstrom was also known to quip that he was not intentionally in the weather business. I'm a TV engineer, not a meteorologist, he would say. Engstrom served the viewers of New England for 38 years. As a well-known radio amateur operator in his area and beyond, Engstrom's voice was easily recognizable. According to Bill Mann, W1KX, you could recognize his heavy Maine accent before he even transmitted and identified. According to those who knew him, Engstrom frequently served as the community through amateur radio, and he served for some time as the treasurer of the Yankee Amateur Radio Club and has been a longtime ARRL member at the time of his passing. Bruce Page, KK5DO, is here with this week's AMSAT report. Bruce?
Thanks, John. Professor Bob Twiggs, KE6QMD, and Dr. Aaron Zuckerman, KM6CHY, are publishing a series on the history of the creation and adoption of the CubeSat. There have been many articles and technical accounts about many of them.
American Radio Relay League news will continue in 20 seconds.
CubeSat. There have been many articles and technical accounts about many of them. They're looking for underreported stories and drama during this early history. They're primarily focusing on WeaverSat Oscar 18, Opal Oscar 38, Weaver Oscar 39, Express Oscar 53, CubeSat Oscar 55 through 58. Delphi Oscar 64. For their contact info and more about their requests, visit amsat.org and view ANS Bulletin number 007. This is Bruce Page, KK5DO. Back to you, John.
And thanks, Bruce, for that report. In radio sport this week, some upcoming contests. On January 13th, it's the YBDX contest. That's phone. January 13th through the 14th, there are 3 contests. The UVA PSK 63 Prefix contest. That's digital. The SKCC Weekend Sprintathon. That's CW. And the North American QSO Party. That's CW as well. January 14th, the NRAU Baltic Contest, single sideband there, phone. The DARC 10-meter contest, CW and phone, that's also on January 14th. And the NRAU Baltic Contest, CW and phone. On January 17th, it's the VHF UHF FT8 Activity Contest, that is FT8. And January 18th through the 19th, it's the Walk for the Bacon QRP Contest, that is CW. So upcoming section, state, and division conventions, January 12th through the 14th, it's the ARRL Puerto Rico State Convention. That's in Hatillo, Puerto Rico. January 19th to the 20th, the Cowtown Hamfest, hosting the ARRL North Texas Section Convention. That's in Forest Hill, Texas. January 27th, it's Winterfest, hosting the ARRL Midwest Division Convention. That's in Collinsville, Illinois. And on February 2nd and 3rd, it's the Capital City Hamfest 2004, hosting the ARRL Mississippi State Convention. That's in Jackson, Mississippi. And finally this week, thanks to the Tri-County Amateur Radio Association in Claremont, California, for airing the ARRL audio news on their repeater. 7-3.
And that concludes ARRL Audio News for this week. Our thanks to all contributors to this week's report. ARRL Audio News is produced by American Radio Relay League. News will continue in 20 seconds. Thanks to all contributors to this week's report. ARRL Audio News is produced by the American Radio Relay League, the National Association for Amateur Radio. For more information on amateur radio or the ARRL, visit us on the web at arrl.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for ARRL. If you have a question or comment about ARRL Audio News, email us at audionews@arrl.org. This program is copyright ARRL, all rights reserved. 73, and thanks for listening. This completes the American Radio Relay League news transmission. The system is now available for use.
I timed that just right. KC9LN Zulu, KE9TQC. Sir, go ahead. KC9LN Zulu. Well, now that I'm far out of RF range of the repeater, I'm just curious, is there an announcement? And the female voice on All-Star, for whatever it's worth, is called Allison. So it's not the other A name that shall not be mentioned, because I don't want to trigger anything here, but it's Allison is sort of the nickname for the voice. But do you ever get an announcement, like right now I'm looking on the dashboard and it says there's a wind chill advisory for Sturgeon Bay? Does it announce like with a little ding, NOAA weather alert or anything? Do you hear that over the repeater at all?
Good morning. The time is 9 a.m. Weather conditions clear. Temperature 2 degrees.
Well, that's what I normally hear at the top of the hour, but yes, every once in a while there might be an announcement about a wind chill or a snow alert or something like that every once in a while. Well, great. I just wanted to make sure that was working. I think that's a very useful feature as long as it's not so frequent as to be annoying, but especially like down here, for example, if there's some sudden weather development that requires your attention, it doesn't tell you all the details, but it alerts you that you should pay attention, and then you go and find the details that you need. So I think that's the intent of it, and that's another consequence of turning on telemetry on the All-Star node. But I find it useful, but I know other people sometimes don't like change or don't want to hear anything or whatever, but I was just curious if it was working since I turned the telemetry on shortly before I left, so I haven't been able to kind of monitor the repeater. So thanks for the update, and for what it's worth, the broadcast came through just great over All-Star down here to Florida, so thanks a lot, and you have a good day and keep warm. KC9LN Zulu, KE9TQC. Yeah, don't sweat too much down there. You know, take it easy. Maybe have a little cold drink every once in a while.
all I got to do is set my glass outside for 30 seconds and it's cold. But yeah, no, I appreciate all the stuff you've done with the top of the hour timing and then the alerts like that. It's handy, you know, and that sometimes makes me say, oh, maybe I better check the weather because it just said something. So thanks again. I appreciate the efforts. KC9, LN Zulu.
The National Weather Service has cleared all watches, warnings, and advisories.
CQC, KC9, LN Zulu. If you were listening, that's what I hear from time to time.
UUV, are you still listening? K9BXG.